Talk about sort of where the idea came from, and like what things you were like important to get into a movie that has this title, I guess.
Right. The idea came originally from a friend of ours, Rodney Rothman, who's a writer producer, and a friend of his told him that he had been to a party in the Hollywood Hills and that an orgy had broken out, and we didn't believe him. And we just kept mocking him and saying it could never happen. People from our generation could never do that. It's such bullshit. I can curse, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good.
Fucking bullshit.
Fucking bullshit.
Goddamn.
So we just started talking about our generation. We thought maybe we need to. That would be a funny movie. Like people from our generation trying to do this, and we started thinking about generational movies like The Big Chill and things like that, and thinking, hey, let's do like an R-rated comedy version of that. And the one thing that was always important throughout the, I don't know how many 90 drafts we did, was that it had to be about friendship. Ultimately, it was about people turning 30 and being at a point in their lives when they were really actually about to turn into adults. And when we first started writing it, we were in our late 20s, and turning 30 seemed terrifying. It seemed like the worst thing ever. It was like driving off a cliff. And then as we turned 30 and got past 30 and moved on, I think we were able to do a better movie about turning 30 with some distance from it and looking back at like what people go through at the time. And it became a very personal movie. We started out trying to make a generational movie, and then one of the notes we got when we were developing it for Vince Vaughn was, he's like, in order for it to be universal, it has to be specific. You have to use your own experiences, and it became really personal. Like the lead character is him. All the parties and all the stuff.
But better, because it's Sudeikis, clearly.
Yeah. Don Johnson is not your dad.
No, my dad wishes.
So it became about us and our friends, and it was kind of a way like to address all the issues that we talk about with our friends of like, why can't he get his shit together? What is the matter with her? And like all that sort of stuff.
Why do they stay in those terrible relationships? The big idea was supposed to be is about a group of friends, almost like a midlife crisis movie where having this crazy idea actually fixes a lot of things in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so there were some self-conscious homages to other movies, like the dancing in the kitchen to Bismarck Key was obviously a shout out to the Big Chill. And then recently I watched The Return of the Sea Caucus 7, which was the movie that preceded The Big Chill, also about 60s radicals reuniting, turning 30. And there was a whole scene about them talking about, one of them was a teacher, and one of the characters in our movie was a teacher. There's a totally unintended similarity, and they're talking about the kids today, and how they're all like, basically they were crapping on the kids today, like, oh, they don't know anything about history, they're all fucking rude and stupid, is basically the take. And I think it was made from the perspective of people who had high ideals and were disappointed with the way the world turned out. Our generation had no ideals. And so our perspective on the kids today is, oh my God, they're so much crazier and cooler than we are. What the fuck happened?
We missed
How did it become so
everything.
lame? We missed everything. And so it was a very different take on that same sort of thing. And also, our movie's not a reunion movie. It's these people are with each other all the time. It's more of a breakup movie, actually.
It's almost yet their last chance to kind of do something crazy once in their lives before they all split up and go their own ways.
So there's a wistfulness to it, and we always wanted that to be kind of a part of it. That it's not just like it's not just a party movie. It's about the party as a trigger for other things. It's like people who are kind of frozen in their lives, and that it's this very, very intense emotional experience unsticks them. It's like a cathartic release from a lot of their problems. So like they're kind of stuck in the now. It's not people who are like obsessed with looking back or looking forward. It's people who are just like so into their own problems and things going on that they can't really move on in their lives. And it's like things like we have a character played by Martin Starr who's a musician who cannot finish his album. It's like his demo, I guess, disc, the old-timey demo disc, and he just can't decide. And he can't decide if the cover he should be wearing a hat or not a hat. This was a real thing that happened to a friend of ours where he was paralyzed for like a year. Hat, no hat is an absolute real thing that we took from life. And all of the movie and all the characters, other than the orgy, are things. The weird foreign boyfriend, we had a friend who had the weird foreign boyfriend that didn't get along with anyone. Like all these things are very, very personal and part of our experiences. And I think that's kind of probably what attracted people, like the actors, to it, is they could feel that they were playing people as opposed to archetypes, and it was important to us that be the case, that they felt specific as opposed to, you know, just dumb guy, smart guy, whatever. Like they all had surprises.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things about sex comedies that I find is sort of like a disappointment is that so many of them set up this idea of like the ultimate hookup or the whatever, and they don't follow through. They always end up going like, I'd rather have love than like this person that I've been trying to bone for the whole movie.
Right.
You know, how important was it that you guys actually did sort of, I guess, consummate this concept, for lack of a better way to describe it, and then you know, what did you guys have to sort of go through to make sure you coordinated in a way that was sort of fully honest, but also within sort of the comfort zone of your actors?
It was a challenge. I mean, that's the truth of the matter is we did a lot of different drafts since 1997. So over the course of a decade, we did a lot of different versions. We try a version where there is no orgy. Everyone decides we can't go through with this. We're just great friends. That's disappointing. It's sweet, but it's not. You need to pay off in some capacity. So we knew there had to be something that delivers on the title and the concept, and it could happen. And it is one of those things where the idea is outrageous, but it's not that far-fetched to where a group of friends, it happens all the time. It should happen more. We like to inspire people, hopefully. Start a psychosexual revolution in a small way. But we really thought we have to deliver on this idea and really use that event to address a lot of the problems in all these characters' lives so that by the end you feel like you went on an emotional journey, but there also has to be, you have to deliver on the premise of an orgy film. And the shooting of it was very, very tricky. Definitely tricky because the actresses, more so than the actors, you know, you have to protect them. They are doing big studio films. They are, you know, very, very conscious of their image. And in the old days, you could do, in the 70s, a sex movie and a few adults will go see it in the movie and it's done. Now, a movie will haunt you for the rest of your life on the internet. Someone will find it and you search an actor's name and that's the first thing will pop up every time if you ever save search to off, which I usually do. So everyone's very aware of even a moment, a glimpse of a breast, a flash of a butt, and that's what they're known for. So it's you have to really be very specific with how you're going to shoot it, how it's going to go after the comedy and the character, and not so much you're just trying to get actresses nude on film, because that was never the point. And I think if we'd shown extended, you know, gratuitous nudity, I think the audience would not have been comfortable with it. You love those characters at that point, so you want it to feel sexy, you want it to feel real, but you don't actually want to see wall-to-wall boobs and ass at that point, because that just, I think, would turn people off.
Yeah, there will be people in the audience who will have wished for more boobs and ass, but we wouldn't.
That's what the
and
internet's there for.
Exactly. It's like, to us, in the age of free nonstop porn on the internet, like, I don't envision people going to pay like movie money to go see tits. It just doesn't make sense. Like, you have to deliver something emotionally satisfying and resonant and just make people laugh. And a lot of times in movies when you see people get naked and stuff, that's actually when you stop laughing and you just kind of like focus on it or are repelled by it. And so it's a delicate dance where you have to deliver on the promise, otherwise it's just a huge rug pull and you've really cheated people. And also you haven't explored anything interesting or anything surprising, and that's the joy of doing an indie movie, is that you get to do stuff like this. In the Hollywood, in the studio movie, they discover love and they chicken out or something. But in the indie version, you get to go through with it, and you want to deliver on the promise without pushing people to a point where they're uncomfortable, because the point of this movie is not to shock people or to make anyone feel uncomfortable. It's just kind of to share in the uncomfortableness of it. Like, we're freaked out making the movie, so we want people not to be too freaked out watching it, and that was kind of key to maintaining it like a delicate balance. That's also why we put a sequence in the middle of the movie where the main protagonists go and visit like a swingers club to do research, and it's intentionally there to kind of be a little bit shocking, so that you're kind of like going, okay, I don't need sex after this. I want to get back to the characters and stuff. It's sort of an intentional, like, all right, He's also a Yoda that gives them some pressing advice that comes back later in the movie. But he's, the sex guru is played by Dave Koechner, who's like a friend of one of the characters' uncles. And it's there to just sort of say, all right, you're wanting sex, here it is in its raw form with older people who are really comfortable with their bodies. And so it's a little bit off-putting, and it kind of works in the way we need it to work. And I think by the time you get to the orgy, people are legitimately, we hope, although we're about to ruin it now, surprised when it happens. Because
but how it happens
is hopefully a little bit surprising.
Yeah. Well, how tough is it to, at this point, to sort of be egalitarian about the comedy? I mean, I think one of the great strengths is you have not just in Leslie Bibb's character like a real equal sort of comedic partner for Jason Sudeikis, but he's a good fulcrum. But then the other characters are not just like sort of all the straight people bouncing off of him, sort of being wacky.
Right.
Particularly sort of the male-female dynamic. How difficult is it to sort of create a sort of fully fleshed out ensemble that has enough different personalities that can each be funny and individual, and yet, as you said, are not purely sort of like character types that sort of form like a foursquare of like every kind of character you might see in this kind of movie.
Yeah. Right. No, for us that was very much the challenge. There are a lot of dude movies, The Hangover and Wedding Crashers. Those are awesome, and the chick flicks and Bridesmaids did it so well. And for us, we really wanted to do a co-ed comedy that kind of brought the sexes together. And it's kind of nice at the end of the summer with both of those types of movies hitting big is finally, hopefully we close it out and bring the sexes together for an orgy. But that was our idea, was we wanted equal representation. Each character, male and female, needed to be equally interesting, funny, flawed, and in the casting process, we got amazing actresses that happened to be gorgeous across the board. And that was not our intention. We wanted very real actresses, so it felt like a real group of friends. And the dudes are hot too.
Dudes are hot.
No disrespect, but it was just in the audition process.
But we started out with a mandate of like no hot girls. Like
This is a
no
real
one's gonna
movie.
believe it. It's like there are hot girls out there. They're not like less real than girls who are.
And just
Not
in that process, we just landed on you know, Leslie Bibb and Lake Bell and Michelle Borth and Angela Sarafian and Lindsay Sloan and you have a
Lucy
Punch, the funniest, and they
were the funniest.
They just were the funniest, and by the end we're like, now we're stuck with beautiful women in our orgy movie. Son of a bitch.
And they also really kind of fit the parts too. That was the other thing we discovered. Like, you know, like take Michelle Borth kind of plays like the badass girl, and like she's a badass girl. Like we finally found out after production that she's got like a Porsche and drives like 120 miles an hour.
She's tattooed from Jersey. She's the real
tough
deal.
girl from Bayonne. So these things just sort of worked itself out.
Each person really fit into their character so perfectly. Lake Bell is the intellectual, you know, Lindsay is the sweetheart. They all really have that natural character that we were looking for, so it worked out.
But yeah, it was really important to us that the girls be represented in the movie. Also because the concept of an orgy is male and female. It's not a gangbang. It's like, and we wanted to make sure that with the title and with the movie about that sort of thing, that women would be interested by it, and seeing like women on the poster and stuff, hopefully they'll get it. The funny thing is when people actually read the script or see the movie, our experience is women get it more than guys do sometimes. Like they totally get it, what it's about, which is just about relationships between friends and stuff. And I think as women go to the place where they think like, I wonder what it'd be like to be with him, and like they go through all the hypotheticals with all their friends, whereas guys, like, it doesn't even occur to them until they're like drunk one night and there's some sort of hookup. So the female perspective was really important, and we had like women editors and women ADs, and it was always a good kind of gut check to be like, are we venturing off into like dude raunch territory? But they were game. Like there was never a point where they were like got shy about anything. It was always, as long as they felt that the sex scenes were done for comedy and for character, they were totally down for it. So it was actually, that wasn't the hard part. The hard part was really just making sure that everyone was equally represented, you know, both in script and on camera, and that is a juggling act. But hopefully we did it.